post-crime reporting, post-crime action, again the same thing. We're not even done reporting about the Kolkata case, and again the same thing. There is no way that a parent can get an FIR registered immediately and the police will cooperate fully. There is always a delay, and that itself shows that, the system is not functioning in favor of whoever is the victim in a scenario like this. The parents are made to run from pillar to post. It's never an easy process.
Yes, that is one of the biggest hurdles. Like I mentioned in the beginning, we are a largely patriarchal system. People functioning also are very patriarchal. The cases that we take to the police station, especially POXO cases, and we've heard earlier some of the judges also saying that if skin has not touched the skin, then you cannot be calling it POXO. It should come under some other kind of an harassment. The law is clear. If a child has been sexually abused, what are the various definitions? There is aggravated and non aggravated. All of this must be taken into consideration by the police. You are enforcer of the law. You don't decide what cases you want to register and what you want to let go. Your job is, when the complainant comes there, is to register the case and do the needful as per procedure. Now, after that, let's see what happens in the court. Now, supposedly, all POXO cases and sexual assault and rape cases must be tried under the fast track courts. How many judges are there? How many POXO courts are there? Probably a district has one magistrate who doubles and triples up as a POXO magistrate. For some time, morning to afternoon, that person, he or she, is a POXO judge. And after that, goes back to some other work. You need a professionally trained person to handle these cases, because they are not like the other victims who can speak to all questions that is asked. You're trying to trick the child. We are trying to help the child to be able to speak what has happened, or the woman to speak up. Now, these courts don't function like that. The way the courts are built, we have a law 2013. From 2013, if some of the court complexes that have been built have one door, exit and entry. When the court law is so clear that the victim need not see the perpetrator, need not see that accused. Now, both will come in and go out through the same door. So the judge and the magistrate have another door, but the victim is not allowed to use that door. Why is it not possible for us who've reached the other side and the dark side of the moon to think of all these things, to put these compliances in place? That is also the state institutional responsibility, machinery's responsibility, to ensure that all this is made available to the children. Now, it is not made available like that. One. Two, years together. Years together. POXO case 9 to 11 months, maximum 15 months. Years together. Should this child move on or not? Should this woman who has been raped, abused, assaulted, ripped off her dignity and self respect move on in life or not? Continue with the rest of her life or not? How can the courts make excuses? We have vacancies, we don't have lawyers, we don't have magistrates. A country that's talking about 7 trillion GDP, we are not able to get these things into place. By then, victims turn hostile. So if you look at the statistics, Afrida,
Yes.
nearly 58 to 69% of the accused are acquitted. Lack of evidence, victims turning hostile, or victims not reachable, they are not coming forward. So we have to address these systemic state machineries whose lacunae is not getting filled up.
So it is heart wrenching indeed, isn't it, to see this case of two 4-year olds being molested in their school premises. Of course, not the first case. We've seen so many of those instances. But like I was just discussing with Brinda, nothing seems to change on ground. Why are we so lax in putting these institutional safety standards in place?
No, you're very right. We keep reading about it every day, every moment. I think it happens, and very few are reported. And why, in spite of that, after Nirbhaya, when the laws came, we had death penalty for rape. In fact, states like Madhya Pradesh, if a child below 6 years is sexually assaulted, it is death penalty, and within a span of 1 month, fast track courts have been put up. And yet, Mumbai puts us to shame. Two 4-year-olds have been sexually assaulted by, I would say, a school staff. He may be a sweeper, but he was employed by the school. So, school staff should be more accountable, more responsible. But I personally feel, number one, um, the law is there, but execution is not there. It goes on for years and years, so there is no exemplary punishment which percolates down to the lower strata, where they get to know that, look, this is not allowed, this is an offense, you can be punished. Because the marginalized communities, I mean, if you see the harrowing conditions in which they live, for them, I think this sexual assault is something part of their lives, and that is why maybe they don't know and they commit like that. That is one line of thought I feel, because he's a sweeper, whether he knows the law, whether he knows there is death penalty or not, or he knows he can get away with it because he must be doing it earlier, and the children are scared to complain or tell their parents. So these things in totality, and also, the in this case especially, the the lady inspector has been suspended. She was delaying writing the FIR. So the police does not cooperate when people go with these type of offenses. The police are worried about their track record. They don't want to show that more cases have happened in their area. So they don't want to write an FIR. They usually write an NC, or they will say, "Ha, tumhara complaint le liya, you go back." So that is onus is on the police also. They don't show the sincerity and the seriousness to such crimes. So these all in totality are responsible for such type of rapes happening. I mean, what 4-year-olds at any age rapes happening?
Don't you think the school authorities, people who directly handle children, have to be sensitized? It's not enough, like I said, to have a certain educational qualification to be a teacher or a principal. You're required to have certain other parameters also, to ensure that safety standards are given the utmost priority in any school.
Absolutely. In fact, a lot of times when these cases have happened, they have been told specifically that even if the bus driver is a male, then the conductor should be a lady. There should be ayahs in the bus with these girl child. And yes, you should have female guards, you should have female security when you know there are girls around. That should be followed stringently. But I think because they must be getting these male sweepers cheaper or whatever, more in supply, they have not walked the extra paths to get women to safeguard these children. So I hold the school absolutely responsible. Also, the POSCO Act, the Section 21 very clearly says that there is a punishment for failure to report a case or record. So, when such incidents happen, and if in this investigation it is found that they had an inkling or something like this, they did not show their, quickness to get the case registered, then action should be taken against the principal. Like in this case, if the lady constable, the lady inspector was not registering, so just transferring her is not the solution. I was reading the paper today; they have just transferred her. Whereas Section 21 of the POSCO Act says that they can be punished means 6 months imprisonment. So let us punish these people. If it is found that school also, some teachers had an inkling about this sweepers record, take action against them. If you let it go leniently, nothing will change. We will have cases like this, and knee-jerk reactions and protests and dharnas will not solve the actual problem.